Welcome to the Proshot podcast. I'm Alex Fordedal. Alongside me is Tomas Zubrus, and today we are continuing our series of interviews where Thomas and myself will be chatting with some of the top prospects for the upcoming 2021 OHL Priority selection. Today we are excited to be chatting with former Toronto Marlborough goaltender Joey Costanzo. Joey, thank you so much for coming on, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm grateful for the call. I'm very excited. How have you guys been doing?
Absolutely, man. I've been doing good. Thomas, how are you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm pretty pumped up for this amazing interview. We got some good questions for you, Joy.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it's a good interview. Absolutely, man. But I gotta start off with my first question here for you. This past year has been pretty crazy for hockey players when it comes to their training and development of their game. How have you been staying active as with being a goalie? Agility and mobility are the foundations of your game. So how have you been staying busy throughout the year?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely for me, I've taken it as a developmental year, as like I'm pretty sure everyone else has. Of course, with minimal games played. I know we played a few like September, October, but really since Christmas, like been short on ice. So just been doing everything I can, like ordering gym stuff, been working on my basement, just every chance I get to get on the ice, I've been doing it, just doing something every day to help myself get better as a goalie, as a person, just like all together school as well. So I've been trying to do everything I can.
For my first question, who or what exactly inspired you to pursue hockey as a passion?
Yeah, so that's a good question. My parents have really brought me up as hockey parents. Like they played it. They didn't play it. My dad played a little bit as a kid, but like I was really the first one to like really play. Of course, they grew up in Toronto. They love the Leafs, stuff like that. So they taught me how to skate when I was around 2 years old. And then ever since then, I really loved it. And I remember when I was about 4 years old, 5 years old, my parents put me in skating lessons, like real skating lessons. It was a figure skate. It was run by a figure skating company, and it was really cool. But the last day of the program, I guess they brought out these wiffle balls and these mini sticks,
Mm-hmm.
and we played. And I played for a good hour. And I remember my parents telling me that I would cry like every time I had to come off the ice at the end, like my 3-year-old self. So my parents were like, okay, by then now, like we got to put him in hockey. He loves it. And ever since I started playing hockey, I've loved it. A couple years later, I picked up goalie, and from there, I've always been a hockey guy. I've always loved it, and now that's my true passion.
Little sidebar question here. What exactly made you pick the position of playing goalie?
Yeah, so the story goes that I was about 5 years old, and my team was called the Weston Dodgers. So Weston's where my mom grew up, and it's also like close to my area as well. So I played there. I made a lot of friends there, but the thing was we were absolutely terrible. I think we won one game in about 20 games. So I just wanted to be a goalie because first off, our prior goalie back then, who I'm still good friends with, he wasn't very good, and it was like house league, and it was house league, and every player needed to be goalie for one house league game. So I really tried it. I really liked it, and my team ended up winning. So I said, hey, I have way more control over the game now. I could actually like change the impact of the game.
That is probably the best way I've ever heard someone say, yeah, I want to be a goalie, when they had arguably like one of the worst house league records I'd ever heard. And the one win you guys had was when you were in net. So, yeah, I think I'm okay at this, so I'm going to pursue it.
No, that absolutely is a funny story, man. And staying on you being a goalie, of course. When it comes to your game on the ice, describe it to me. Are you a butterfly? Are you an old-fashioned stand-up? Talking about your game in your own words, man.
Yeah, so my style of goaltending is, I'd say it's a newer style just because like technicalities of the game and how the game's been changing. But I'm also a very like athletic goalie. I'm a big goalie as well. I'm around 6'2", so I like to make a lot of athletic saves. I like to use my height and size to make saves. A lot of goalies, they have a lot of superstitions, cool superstitions, stuff like that. I've never really been that guy. I've always been a team oriented guy. I'm in it to have fun and win the game. So that's always been my motto. And I've always tried to be that big, fast, athletic goalie.
So if I may ask you, Joey, who would you say that you model your game after? If it's a OHL goalie, perhaps, or an NHL goalie?
Yeah, so the two guys that I've always tried to model my game after is probably Andrei Vasilevsky and Marc-Andre Fleury. Just mostly based off the fact that they both have similar styles to me, just naturally. But I've also taken like things from their game and implemented me, like especially Vasilevsky, his post work and like just movement around the crease is like really elite. And that's one of the reasons why like he's considered maybe the best goalie in the world. So I really tried to model that. And then just Marc-Andre Fleury, he's a total character. You could really tell like at the end of the day, it's the entertainment business. And you see him like he's always giving sticks to kids. Like the camera zooms in on him between whistles. He's just like he's always smiling. He's always doing something. He's always with his teammates. Like he's just a real character, and like you love to watch him. I've never heard anybody say they don't like Marc-Andre Fleury unless they're a Detroit Red Wings fan. So I love those two guys. They're characters, and they're one of the reasons why I love playing goalie.
Absolutely, man. Those two guys right there are the epitome of top goalies in the league at what they do. So you know what?
Probably both as the favorites.
As of right now, honestly, yeah, absolutely with the seasons they've been having. Since you said that you take some pieces from their game and try to mold it into your own, what would you say is your best attribute?
Yeah, so my best attribute is probably my athleticism. I'm a very quick goalie. I'm a very fast goalie, and I like using my size. Just my pure athleticism, my pure competitiveness. How I feel like it helps me make a lot of saves.
With a little quote at the end there. Is there any particular OHL player who's in the league right now or an alumni of the OHL who you would like to play with in the future as opposed to against?
Yeah, obviously. So my goal is obviously to play like in the NHL and maybe OHL too as well. So guys, like obviously it's fun to play against your idols, like guys like Andre Vasilevsky and Marc-Andre Fleury. But like I'm excited in the OHL, like especially new guys like Shane Wright. I had the opportunity I was in a camp with him a couple of years ago, right before he got drafted to Kingston. So that was really fun. So it'll be a lot of fun. Like guys like Pano Fimis, guys like Ty Nelson, Brendan Hoffman, those guys who like you've kind of seen come up. You kind of watch them as like they kind of grew up with you. They're your generation of guys. So it'll be really fun to see those guys.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, Ty Nelson for first overall pick last year in the 2020 OHL draft. And it's
Former
really
guest of ours.
Former guest of ours, absolutely. And it's really interesting that you brought up that crop of guys, because this actually goes into my next question for you. All of those guys share one thing in common. They played in the GTHL.
Mm-hmm.
You came out of the Toronto Marlborough organization. And I think it's fair to say, if anyone knows the history of that team, that they have produced an abundance of incredible talent along the years. So I'm curious to ask, as a fresh player, coming out of that system, what have you learned with the Marlboroughs that you think you would successfully take with you into the OHL?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the Toronto Marlboroughs maybe probably the most prestigious organization in minor hockey in the world. And I'm really grateful for my time there. I had a lot of good teammates coming up with me now, and just other guys like right from the coaching staff, right to the last player on the bench, right to the training staff. We had an amazing organization throughout, well run as well. Like, of course, now we have our new owners in Tavares and Gagne. But it was extremely fun for me. It was a great experience, a really professionally run organization. And just some of the things that I learned there were really like the amazing coach I had, Richard Power, probably most winning coach in GTHL history. He came up with the O2s as well. And you think of guys on that team, guys like Jamie Drysdale, Will Cooley, high draft picks in the NHL now. And really there, I just learned a lot of good team values. Like my team with the Marlies, I could knock on any one of those guys' doors at 1 a.m. They'll give you a place to stay. Like every single one of those guys is a true teammate. I know I'll run through a wall for any one of those guys, and I know they'll do the same for me. And that's just the beauty of being the Marlies, like the true professionalism. Just like everybody on that team is a true teammate. And I think it got us a lot of wins as well. Just the accountability we had, like for each of everyone on that team, we could really trust each other, and we became best friends. Those are just some of the things I learned as a Marley, and I'm really grateful for my time there.
This is my final question for you here today, man. And of course, by the time you would have been drafted, I'm sure some fans will come back to this interview and hopefully get to know you. So I think this is a pretty good fan-oriented question. If there's one thing OHL fans should know about you, what would that be?
That's a good question. So what an OHL fan would be getting, like for their team, you're going to get a strong, fast, athletic goalie, a guy who's going to come to work every day, be a competitor, be a leader, and also a guy who's just going to play with a smile on his face every day. And he's just going to have fun playing the game of hockey. So if I think there's one thing that fans are going to notice is that they're getting a competitor, and they're getting a guy who wants to win, but at the same time, they're getting a fun, happy guy who just loves playing the sport of hockey, and he's going to come to work every day and work his hardest to make the NHL someday.
Well, wherever you go, man, we absolutely hope you do well, and we wish you the best. Joey, thank you so much for coming on today, man. I know we absolutely appreciate it, and hopefully we can talk to you again once you're an official member of an OHL team.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely. Be on the lookout for Joey in the 2021 OHL Priority selection when rounds 1 to 3 start on Saturday, June 4th. That's less than a week, people. It's getting close at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can check it out on the OHL's YouTube channel then. You can also find our other OHL draft interviews where we've talked to guys such as Chris Barlas, Mitchell Brooks, Luke McNamara. We're staying busy talking to some great guys. And exactly, you can find that at our official Proshot podcast YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe and have a good one.